A very good evening to you. Thank you for joining us. My name is Wari Mombogwa. Now let's take a look at some of the stories that have been compiling during the week. E-waste is the most rapidly growing problem in waste stream due to its quantity and toxicity. If improperly disposed, e-waste poses a great threat to human life and the environment. Dr. Farida Were, an environmental specialist at the Kenya Industrial and Research Development Institute, KIRDI, explains.
So as we are improving in terms of technology, we are also creating a lot of e-waste.
The United Nations Environmental Programme, on the other hand, describes e-waste as various forms of electrical and electronic equipment that are old and valueless, destined for reuse, resale, recycling, or disposal. The bulk of waste dumped in Nairobi by the 3.5 million inhabitants of the city is electrical and electronic waste. One wonders what factors have led to the recent surge in the e-waste dumping in the city.
In Kenya, the rise in e-waste is due to increase in electronic and electrical equipment, and this is due to fast transition, because you realize that like the phone, we have different types of phones now. We are getting a lot of equipment because people now require fast life, so that this equipment can help them really to do their work faster.
Pundits argue the influx of uncredited collectors and recyclers in the country is also a contributing factor to the surge of electrical and electronic waste. These uncredited waste collectors waste a lot of valuable materials in the process of illegally recycling the waste.
Recycling, here we have two types of recycling. We have informal sector, they also recycle, and we have formal sector. Formal sector means that they have registered with the NEMA. They have been licensed by NEMA because they have met the guidelines of NEMA. But informal sector means that they are not licensed, meaning that whatever they do is illegal. So once we have these guidelines, they will help in the sense that it's only the professionals, those who have been trained, would be able to handle this type of materials.
There is therefore need for proper awareness to the public on the importance of proper e-waste management. This awareness ought to start from the rural areas where technological advancements are now being embraced. Most people in rural Kenya simply mismanage such material due to ignorance.
We require a lot of awareness even on, let's say, rural areas, because now they have started also impressing the electronic equipment in whatever they are doing.
Mind you, electronic waste can combat poverty and generate jobs through safely collecting, recycling, and processing.
Life behind bars can be very depressing. You simply got to be creative and with a positive attitude in order to devise survival tactics. Those confined to life sentences must find a way of adjusting to the new environment. While a number of inmates find solace in activities such as music, others enroll in training programs where they are trained as professionals. Surprisingly, the skills gained through the various vocational courses that inmates have taken can be used in enhancement of economic growth in the country. For instance, taxpayers would have parted with 400,000 shillings per seat in Parliament. Government had intended to import the seats from China, were it not for the prison department that indicated it could make the same seats at a cost of 250,000 shillings each. Monday morning, and the Cabinet Secretary for Interior and Coordination, Joseph Olelenku, is ushered in at Kamiti Maximum Prison to mark another success story. The mission is to launch the making of modern number plates for vehicles in Kenya.
I'm pleased to announce that that target of acquiring that machine and appropriate technology has now come to be, and we will closely be working with the Ministry of Transport to finalize the framework within which a rollout of modern number plates will be produced through prisons.
The tamper-proof number plates are expected to go a long way in curbing rampant vehicle thefts, vehicle ownership disputes, and reducing crimes committed with stolen vehicles.
The features we are looking at are whereby you can see a road offender or a traffic offender, and from records link it to the IPRS and our databases to identify who is the owner of this vehicle, the offense, and even remit to a central point in KRA the fines that this person should pay.
The number plates will have a microchip technology, a security feature the government says will be hard to duplicate, and is part of a plan to modernize the motor vehicle sector through a project called the Transport Integrated Management System. The making of number plates behind bars here at GK Committee Maximum Prison is a clear indication that one is taken to prison as a punishment and not for punishment. The move is expected to raise revenue, especially in prison service, and also curb the rampant vehicle theft in the country. It is now upon Kenyans to embrace this new technology of having the modern number plates, and it will cost about 4,000 for the normal, that is the standard number plates, and about R1 million for the customized number plates. Reporting for WTV News, I'm Elijah Mwangi.
Public hospitals are faced with a looming crisis as the reality of an acute drug shortage sets in. Staff who chose to be anonymous have raised the alarm, saying that stocks of TB, HIV and malaria medicines at county hospitals are low. They are now calling out on a law that compels counties to work with a centralized procurement wing to ensure supplies needed are guaranteed. Putting TB into consideration, it is not the first time the country is facing the crisis of not having enough stock, with most of it in supply being buffers.
We have come to realize that what Kenya actually right now is using to cure TB is what we call a buffer. A buffer is a medicine that you put somewhere that in the case there is a problem, then you will use it. Kenya usually has a buffer for 6 months.
When put into consideration, the cost of treating resistant TB is extremely high.
The cost of treating one extremely drug-resistant or multi-drug-resistant TB patient is about 2 million. And this, Nairobi alone in 1 year needs 160 million to treat these people. Now, so that they finish their treatment, this translates into around 320 million.
TB is a contagious disease with about 800,000 people suffering from its various forms and a registered 600,000 under treatment. Half of these are pulmonary infections. With its contagious nature in mind, the government and other relevant stakeholders should work on measures to ensure that the supply of the much-needed drugs is adequate. Reporting for WTV News, I am Wavinya Wanyasa.
Just a few days ago, the Senate vowed to defy a court order that had barred senators from discussing an impeachment vote against Makueni Governor Professor Kivutha Kibwana, arguing that it is unconstitutional.
The County Government Act is very clear. The governor continues to perform the functions of a governor in Makueni until Senate concludes its process.
The move spurred a raging supremacy battle between the judiciary and the legislature, which accused judges of interfering with activities of the MPs and senators. President Uhuru Kenyatta met judges early Tuesday in the East African Magistrates and Judges Association with over 300 judges in attendance, including Chief Justice Willy Mutunga.
The judiciary will continue to do its part as mandated by the Constitution, but to remain alive to the fact that for there to be access in the administration of justice, there has to be robust independence of the judiciary and constructive interdependence with the other arms of government.
Uhuru said that all arms of the government are equal and should work together to ensure smooth governance, adding that none is independent of the other.
The three arms of government are not meant to be in conflict, nor are they in competition. The principle of checks and balances underpinning our constitutional order does not empower any branch to infringe on the mandate or role of another, or to impose its own particular vision on the decisions and actions of the others.
Kenyatta said the fact that he attended his status conference showed that the government under his leadership respects judicial authority.
My government's commitment to the rule of law in Kenya cannot be questioned. Just recently, I took the step of honoring summons of the International Criminal Court, both as a personal obligation and to demonstrate the principle that obedience to judicial edicts is vital.
Addressing the judges, Kenyatta said judicial independence must remain inviolable, noting that a critical threat to judicial independence is its potential to abuse.
The judiciary must equally act sternly, reject corruption and impunity in all their manifestations.
Uhuru further added that there are few constitutions in the world that match our constitution in the protection of human rights. Reporting for WTV News, I am Wairi Mombogwa.
Majority of Kenyans do not own their home, thus increasing the demand for rental houses, especially in the city. Consequently, more and more financial institutions are providing affordable mortgages to meet the surging demand. Remarkably, Rafiki Deposit Taking Microfinance is going out of its way to not only offer low-interest loans to low-income earners, but also to provide solutions to owning a home at a lower cost.
The key word here is about affordable housing. That means a house that one at each level of income you can afford, a decent house. We don't bring the low cost just to compromise on quality. And what we've done is we've brought all the actors, all the players within the beauty and industry, and we've already partnered with key partners in this, both contractors, both the consultants, both the material suppliers, whether it's cement, whether it's paint, whether it's roofing sheets or tiles and all that. We partners who've come together, and together we looked at the best, most cost-effective way to bring down the cost of land. You realize the key component of a cost of a house is actually land. Yeah, it's not necessarily those materials. It's land, and of course labor. Those two variables is what adds up to the cost of a house mainly. Okay. So long as you manage your labor very well, then again you'll be able to keep the costs very low and finish the job faster. And that's why we brought all these consultants together, so that we give you one solution. We even tell you where to pick your cement, we tell you where to pick your ballast, which contractors, because we have a whole list of partners in terms of contractors. We have consultants, including architects and consultants, who have again agreed on discounted prices on their fees and things like that, just to make it affordable. Quality but affordable house.
Apart from these solutions, Rafiki will also advise you on how to save for a house depending on how much you earn.
Well, when you look at the market of the people who live in Nairobi, anyone can afford. Depends the kind of a house that you're looking for, the kind of shelter that one is looking for. But really, it's anyone who has some level of income. I'm looking at people who earn between 15,000 and above. Those are people can afford. But the kind of house that each category can afford is different, depending on their income levels.
Undoubtedly, with the right advice, mortgage plan and determination, most Kenyans can actually own a home. Home ownership brings with it comfort, convenience, and an opportunity to save for the future. Reporting for WTV, I am Nelly Milia.
And that's all we had for you today. Thank you for joining us. My name is Wairi Mombogwa.